Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Unsolicited with Sam and Jordyn. I am Sam. This is Jordyn. I am so discombobulated. My mic was also just about to like fall off as that intro was also going. I was like, oh my god, what a way to say. It's been a week.
It has been an absurd week. If anyone sees the bruise on my arm here, no, whatever you're thinking, get no ideas. I was in the hospital earlier this week and it's from my IV. So if that goes to show, Sam was dealing with neurovirus, like that tells you how crazy of a week we're having. Obviously, we didn't get an episode out in our normal Thursday afternoon time. We're recording this Thursday evening just because me and Sam both needed to rest up and heal our bodies a little bit.
Just a bit, yeah. I did not have a chance to really watch that Vikings Rams game on Monday because I was in and out of consciousness. But
I watched it from my bed in the emergency room from the iPad that Brian brought with him.
The fact that Jordyn and I both were like going through it. I mean, I would say that Jordyn's was much more significant being in the hospital, but I did not feel well and I was just like like when you're just like something is wrong and like I was just like my stomach hurts and that's weird and I wasn't hungry and my mom was like you're fine and I was like I don't think I'm fine and then turns out I wasn't fine because then I was puking my brains out. So
yeah, no, that is awful. Knock on wood. I've obviously had my fair share of other issues, but I've gone a few years without an actual flu. But I know how that sick feeling, it's awful. So I'm glad you are feeling better today.
And I'm glad that you're feeling better because overall the first half of this week, we didn't even know if we were going to put out an episode this week, but resilient by Thursday. We're like, you know what? Let's put out an episode. Why not?
We were like, let's just record tonight. Sam texted me. She was like, do you want to record in a half hour? I was like, fuck yeah, I do.
Yeah, why not? Like who cares at this point? We probably will have a bit of a shorter show though. But we are super, super excited to get into some NFL playoff stuff with you guys. It has been quite the weekend. Wildcard weekend definitely surprised me in a few different ways. Before we get into all that, I do kind of want to give you the floor as an Eagles fan to speak on behalf of your fandom because of the viral video that has been going around recently of an awful man calling a woman in a Packers jersey a dumb see you next Tuesday, and doesn't matter what is going on, what colors you wear, or anything like that. It's just not okay. So I kind of want to give you the floor as an Eagles fan, as the nicest Eagles fan that I know.
Thank you.
To kind of speak your piece and defend your fandom just a little bit.
Yes, because the response that I saw was overwhelming, and it was the entire not the entire, but a large portion of the Eagles fan community that came out and immediately was like, we do not claim him. Is Philly a very passionate, dedicated city? Yes. Do we get a very bad reputation? Yes. Do fans like this just add to that reputation? Yes. And it's really not fair to the rest of the Philadelphia sports community because, like I said, we are loud, we are in your face, we are passionate, we are diehard. We would do anything for our team. Does that include a lot of trash talking? Absolutely. Have I been at Eagles games where there's trash talk going back and forth? Yes. But no matter what, and I've witnessed this firsthand, no matter what, it's lighthearted. Like they will look at you in your face and say your team sucks. But if you're like on edge about it, if you're not going back, normally people back off. I've seen people apologize and be like, listen, I'm sorry. That's just how we are. Like you get caught up in the environment. And for the most part, the Eagles fans that I've interacted with, that I speak with, like I said, are we cutthroat? Yes. But at the end of the day, are they good people? Yes. And I think they really do get a really bad reputation. And it makes me so sad because, like I said, like I'm so in this community. And it's filled with so many wonderful, good people that just love their football team so much. And And so when fans like this take it that far and kind of just bring the bad rep back to Philly, it makes me so sad, because I'm like, if everyone really got to know Philly fans and if they got to experience it and got to like get caught up in it, I think everyone would actually love us. No, you can hate us and that's fine, because like I said last week, we perform better when we're hated. So keep hating us, but know that that is not a good reputation of all Eagles fans, and majority of Eagles fans think this was absolutely disgusting behavior, and he deserves everything bad that came out of it. He's banned from all future Eagles games. He lost his job. The Eagles sent the woman a box of Packers gear, which I thought was just so classy and wonderful, because again, the organization's great. We just got a bad rep.
Yeah. Yeah. And as someone who, well, I worked with so many Eagles fans, all of which were wonderful people, including Jordyn. I met all those people and I was like, of course, like, okay, Eagles fans, but in a professional setting, you're gonna be normal. And I obviously grew to have a very, very close friendship with Jordyn. And we've been to a Giants Eagles game together in which she cheered for her team, but never ever got in my face about it. And, anything along those lines, even when, I'm kind of a bitch about it, like texting Jordyn, go Pack Go this weekend. And then she was like, I'm going to block you. And I was like, it's fair. But I said that like out loud, and Michael was like, wait, did she actually block you? And I was like, no. At least I don't think so.
No, I did not. I meant more in the sense of like blocking you out for a few hours.
Yeah.
Because, and I will be so honest with Sam, whether I'm like, if she asks me a question and I'm like, listen, I'm not going to be able to answer this unbiasedly. Like,
Right.
I'll warn her. And then also in moments like that, I'm like, listen, I'm going to become my crazy Philly self. I will talk to you in a few hours when regular Jordyn's back.
Yes. We are like very aware, like when to converse with one another.
Yes.
And as of right now, there really is no competition because the Giants are so shitty and so bad. So, but hopefully in the near future, the Giants will be good again and we will have a wonderful, healthy rivalry with one another.
And when we started doing sports content at the same time, and when we started doing podcasts together, that was like NFC least eras.
Oh,
so it's
bad.
not that we were competitive in a good sense by any means, but everyone was competitive in a really bad sense. And that was also fun because me and Sam both had this really self-deprecating humor about our teams, which was good. But eventually the cycle is going to match up where we're both really good. We're both contenders and competitive, and that's going to be very, very fun.
Yes, it will be. Hopefully, if the Giants don't screw everything up in April, but we don't have time to unpack all of that right now. We will get into draft stuff later on, but right now we're in the NFL playoffs, baby. We had such an interesting wild card weekend. Obviously, your Eagles did beat the Packers, which honestly I'm not very surprised. It was kind of expected. It wasn't even, I think that one game out of the weekend I barely watched. Like it was just not entertaining as as an outside viewer of these teams. Like I was like, okay, whatever. Like it really wasn't
entirely fair.
Well, and I mean, you could argue the same with the Bills, but I was just so happy to see the Bills winning that I was like, yay. But yeah, it was definitely an interesting weekend, and this weekend is going to be even more interesting with these divisional matchups. I mean, we got the Chiefs and the Lions coming in off of their first round bye, and we have the game of the century, I think, Ravens Bills, which is properly placed at the end of the slate for the weekend. But how are you feeling going into this weekend? This is going to be an interesting matchup.
This entire weekend, I think, is going to be absolutely phenomenal. Really, the only team that shocked me and disappointed me in wildcard weekend was the Chargers. And not that I'm upset by any means. Everyone knows we are big CJ Stroud fans here. We had very high expectations for the Texans coming into this season. And then they kind of just lost it for us because they were kind of very up and down. And then they were able to beat the Chargers and move on to the divisional round, which was just absurd. Justin Herbert had 3 interceptions the entire regular season.
Yeah, and did he have 4 in this game?
4 in that one game. And granted, I said on my Sporty Hour show, the Texans were like second in the league in leading in interceptions. I think they had 19 before that game. So I was like, listen, they're definitely going to challenge Justin Herbert, but like, look how well he's been playing. Awful. But yeah, that's the game I think I'm least excited for, though. Texans Chiefs. Do you think there's any chance that the Texans upset?
If they do, I think the world would burn. Like,
Yeah.
that would be absolutely insane. I cannot imagine a sophomore year CJ Stroud and this, honestly, I argue a depleted Texans offense.
It is. I don't even think you have to argue it. I think that's the thesis.
And it was the defense last week that won that game for the Texans with the turnovers, and obviously the Chargers weren't helping themselves in any way, but I cannot imagine, one, that they now have that tape from last week that the Chiefs have probably been watching over and over and over this past week, to then go into that game and lose. Like, it just, and also I argue the Chiefs are one of those teams that when they are rested for so long, you think sometimes, like, those teams that like sometimes they rest for too long and then they come back and they're awful. Like
the Ravens. I feel like that always happens with them.
Yeah. I mean, last year we kind of saw that in the playoffs with them, right? Because they were the first seed in the AFC. So, weren't they?
Was that last year or the year before?
Maybe it was the year before. Either way, the year that they were the first seed. The Chiefs are kind of the opposite. They perform so well, and their starters have been off for like 20 days, like almost a month even, because they didn't play week 18. So I if they did, I think I would play the lotto.
No, same. I'd be like, anything is possible at this point.
I'd be like, I'm gonna go try out for American Idol or something.
Because no, literally, this isn't even, because you already mentioned it, but this isn't even a healthy Texans team going up against Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead in the postseason, where we know he just comes to life. And yeah, obviously, unfortunately, we all know that the Chiefs have done this over and over and over again. So I would be shocked, but I'm obviously rooting for the Texans.
Yeah. Oh, obviously. I mean, I think it's only Chiefs fans and probably non-football Swifties who are voting, who are like rooting for the Chiefs.
Yes.
Thoughts on baby Mahomes' number 3 name? Golden Ray.
I thought it was really interesting. I think it's a beautiful name. Golden Ray Mahomes. It's a beautiful, beautiful name. But if I was bronze, I'd kill myself. Like,
could you imagine being baby number 2 and baby 3 comes along and their name is Golden and your name is Bronze?
I heard a rumor. We need to fact check this. I heard a rumor that their dog is also named Silver. So not only are you behind your sibling, but the dog, and I understand the meaning behind Bronze. Like, he's Patrick Mahomes the third, Bronze. Like, I get it, but still, now your baby sister is Golden and your dog is Silver. Like, we need to Google, what is Patrick? If this is real, I'm going to cry.
No, I wouldn't be surprised. I do think that their dogs are
Steel and Silver.
Honestly, I'd even argue Sterling should be kind of pissed off too. She's not even like a actual, like, people buy sterling silver when they can't afford to buy the 18-karat golden ray. You know what I mean? Like, if anything, that's gonna be, I'm gonna, unless they have another one, but assuming that they're gonna have these 3 kids, like, this girl is going to be so spoiled.
Yep.
I mean, these kids are spoiled anyway because their father makes $500 million, but at the same time, like, and he's going to be the middle child. God.
And the only boy. And
obviously Brittany runs that household. Like, Patrick just shows up and he's like, what's up, guys? I'm here. I'm your dad. And, like, just lives his life and just lets, Brittany does what, Brittany does. She runs it. She runs the
runs
show,
shit.
and it's very
Yeah.
obvious. But man, that is just. But again, and I saw she did like I think she did some sort of promotional thing for like Crate and Barrel or something, and it was like they were like, this is how we designed our baby girl's room or like something like that. And hold on, can you not do that? He's ripping up my yoga mat. It's fine, it's a Five Below yoga mat. Anyways, but yeah, but Brittany Mahomes did like a whole thing like, oh, this is how we decorated our baby girl's room. And it's a gorgeous room, but I'm like, what baby wants this room? It's Crate and Barrel. It's on her Instagram, I think. Also shout out to that woman for looking absolutely phenomenal after she has these kids. Like, oh my god.
Incredible. That's like my dream.
It's actually, I mean, I know that she's very wealthy and has the means to make sure that she does look good after having children, but my god. Sports Illustrated model, like insane.
Yeah.
Insane. I gave her so much props.
Yeah, no, it's very impressive. But yeah, I was cracking up at the name. And yeah, to wrap up the Chiefs, I think we definitely see them in the AFC Championship again. And yeah, what other? Then we have, I'm trying to think of the order that the games are in. What are the games Saturday?
It'll be Texans Chiefs at 4:30. I have them written down on my calendar.
Okay.
And then the 8:00 game is Commanders at Lions. So it'll be the one seeds play on Saturday.
Okay, so now let's go through this same spiel again. Do we think the Commanders can upset the Lions?
I would be less surprised.
Agree.
But also would still be surprised because I'm expecting the Lions to be in the NFC Championship game, if not the Super Bowl. So it's like, but at the same time, my God, I was shocked that Jayden Daniels even won a playoff game in his rookie year. Like,
did you see the list of rookie quarterbacks that won not even just a playoff game, an away playoff game? It was like Joe Flacco, I know, was one of them. It was like there was 4 of them total, and they were like all legends. And I was like, holy shit.
Rookie quarterbacks who won away playoff games. Russell Wilson, Mark Sanchezi, and Joe Flacco. Yeah.
Yep.
And Jayden Daniels. That kid is so good. He's going to haunt us for like the next 15 years.
He's going to haunt us for, the next chunk of our lives. And I'm ready for it. He's just always so, and I said this prior to the game because I said Bo Nix wasn't going to win because he's a rookie. But I was like, Jayden Daniels is going to win. And I know that sounds contradictory, but when the cameras cut to Jayden Daniels, no matter what, he's smiling. No, he is just so calm, cool, and collected. He's like, I'm just going to go out there and do what I do. And that's something that is very rare in a rookie quarterback. And I knew was going to be the difference for him.
Did you see the camera pan to him after they kicked that field goal and won? Like, he literally was sitting there and he was like, huh, cool.
Awesome.
All right. See you guys later. It was like
so crazy.
Oh, he's just so talented. But I'd like to argue though that the Lions are the better team here. Yes. They are more put together. Obviously they were just resting. It makes more sense, but I'm a little nervous for Detroit. Genuinely, if Jayden Daniels ends up making it to the freaking NFC Championship game, hand the kid the MVP on the platter. I know postseason isn't included in that, but how do you not? Right. That kid, it's just incredible. And I hope for his sake, he does not suffer a RG3 moment where he gets hurt in one way or another and his thing, his whole, I argue that Jayden Daniels is better than RG3 than he was in his rookie year. Don't get me wrong, but he is quite skinny.
He is.
And I mean, same with Lamar, but Lamar has come back from his injuries and obviously has continued to be great, but I don't know. I worry about him. And I know I shouldn't because he's literally in our division, but I literally am wishing him nothing but the best.
Literally, you cannot hate Jayden Daniels, and that is coming from an Eagles and Giants fan. It's impossible. It's impossible. When the Eagles are playing him, am I going to root against him? Absolutely, of course. But I mean, I agree. I wish him nothing but the best. And like you said, the Lions are definitely the stronger team. And I think we'd literally need to see a full just like collapse. Like for them to come out and just do the opposite of what they've done all season in every single aspect, which do I think is going to happen? No, realistically not. Dan Campbell is on fire. Jared Goff is on fire. This entire team is on fire. Are the Commanders playing exceptionally well? Yes. Do I think they're going to play them strong? Yes. Do I think the Lions are going to win? Yes.
I agree. Very well said. That's
Thank you.
very well said. You know,
Thank you.
I do have a qualm with the postseason.
Tell me.
And it is that I hate the fact that teams that are not in the playoffs have the opportunity to interview coordinators and coaches of teams that are in the playoffs.
Yes.
Like,
Because
what
I
is
think
that?
if that didn't happen, then the Eagles would have won the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. I swear to God.
It was Steichen.
Gannon.
Oh,
And our
yeah.
defense disappeared that game. And it's because he was already fucking checked out because he knew he had another job.
It's that, and just the fact that, you know, in the postseason, you want to be focused in on that game that's coming up. You want to put all of your energy into that. But then also you're running off and you're like, oh, let me go do this interview real quick. It's only going to take an hour of my time. But it's then your head is somewhere else. And
Yeah.
I don't think that that should be allowed, because Ben Johnson for the Lions is getting like just interview after interview after interview. And like, I am nervous that that's taking away from and their defensive coordinator and Aaron Glenn too.
Mhm.
So like, I don't know. If that were me, if that was my team, if I were Dan Campbell, I'd be like, hey, I think that you guys should explore opportunities and do what's best for you. But at the same time, this is priority number one. Like, we have to win this game. We need to make it to the Super Bowl. This season is not over yet. So I just it doesn't happen during the regular season. And obviously, because Black Monday doesn't happen until the last the day after the last day of the season. But it just doesn't I don't like it. And I think that it's going to affect one of these teams, and it's probably going to be the Lions, whether they win or not.
I agree. No, I think it should be a mandated rule that you can say like, listen, I want to interview you. Like you can make your list, but you are not allowed to have any actual conversations until the coaches or coordinators season has 100% ended, because the Eagles are dealing with it too. Kellen Moore, I think, has a few interviews. Like
Dallas.
Don't go back to Dallas. Like
I honestly, I think they're going to give it to Dion. I know we're going to go off on a quick tangent here, but I think they're going to give it to Dion. I don't know why they wouldn't.
damn. I just like couldn't see Dion leaving college, but with the more that it's being talked about, I'm like, shit, he would leave college and
No,
go to the Cowboys.
he just came out today and said if they
Yeah.
offer me the job, I'll take it.
Yeah. That's when I was like, shit. I was like, nah, he loves college. He loves working with kids. He loves being there. And then I saw that and I was like, I'm wrong. Like, I'm just going to stop talking.
Oh my God. Yeah, no. But either way, it just doesn't make sense to me. And I think that should be a rule that and if you find your candidate and the season's not over yet, like the Patriots, like, then that's your guy. Then
Yeah.
obviously you don't have to interview anyone else, because like Mike Vrabel is your guy, so then hire him. Like, I don't know. It just seems like icky.
I agree. No, 100%. Like you were saying, like if your guy's available, you're allowed to hire whoever during the playoffs. But if the coordinator or coach that you want is still coaching, you are not allowed to talk to them.
Yeah. But anyways, let's move on to the next game. Is your Eagles Rams.
Yes.
In Philly.
Yes.
On Sunday.
Yes.
You guys are coming off of a pretty strong win here. I'm not going to lie to you, and I don't know if the Rams are going to win, but if there was any other team in the NFC that was going to come in and play you, that it has the possibility to, it would be the Rams. Because I really genuinely think you guys could have beaten the Bucks. I genuinely could have think you guys could have beaten the Commanders if that is how the seeding ended up working. But the Rams, unless they're just, I don't know. I don't know, unless they also got lucky against a Sam Darnold's obviously horribly led postseason Vikings.
No, I think your logic is entirely valid.
Okay.
However, I completely disagree. And I
Okay.
actually wanted to play the Rams just
Yeah.
because for some reason we beat them. And we've played them 2 or 3 times over the last few years. Regular season, I can't remember if one of them was, I do think one of them was in the postseason. But whatever, for the sake of it, we played the Rams a few times, and every time I'm like, ooh, it's Sean McVay's team. The Rams are
Yeah.
very strong. They've always been
Fair.
strong. It was always a game that I was like a little nervous going into, and then we just win. So I'm like, we just kind of the same way. I'll flip it vice versa, so no one thinks I'm being biased. In the same way that the Bucks have the Eagles number. Like for
Right.
some reason, the Bucks beat the Eagles. So I did not want to touch the Bucks. I really didn't want a divisional matchup against Jayden Daniels in the postseason. So I was like, give me the Vikings or the Rams. I do not care. And I do think it's going to be a hard fought game. I think the Packers, if everyone could have stayed healthy, that would have been even a closer kind of game. But I do think the Eagles win. And I'm
All right.
excited.
And I think that's totally like valid. Like it is going to be one of the better games, I think, just because of you kind of forget about the Rams during the regular season. I don't know if it's just me and I don't know if it's just East Coast, but I always forget about the Rams up until the postseason comes around. I'm like, oh fuck. The Rams are a good team. They have freaking Matt Stafford. They've won a Super Bowl. McVay is a goddamn genius. And it's like, but you they are very like flippy floppy. And I mean, has anyone seen Cooper Cup? I mean, did he even show up to work this year? Because I haven't seen him. Like it
No,
is just he has been non-existent for this team. Obviously, Puka Nacua has stepped up a lot for the Rams, and their defense has, it's not the same without Aaron Donald, but it's not bad.
no.
But yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
It is.
This is gonna be one of these toss-up games, in my opinion.
And that's fair. I am just feeling better because so Jalen, how we talked earlier about like when teams rest, I hate when Eagles starters rest. And it's not even just a Jalen Hurts thing. Like I felt the same way with Carson Wentz back with like I didn't like it because I feel like Philly is such a momentum team. It was why I was so upset that they didn't let Saquon go for the record. Cause I was like, if he gets this, we win the Super Bowl. Like nothing would be able to stop us after that. Again, momentum, just that energy. So I was really, really nervous because Jalen obviously missed the last 2 weeks of the regular season after concussion, finger injury. Like there was a whole bunch of stuff. We were kind of up and down. And then obviously we were playing the Packers and we won comfortably 22-10, but our offense did not look like our offense. So I was like, we got all the cobwebs off in that game.
Mhm.
Everyone's kind of back in their routine. There's a chance for snow in Philly during the playoffs. Like we're supposed to get hit with snow. And I'm just
Ooh.
picturing a Saquon Barkley divisional round snow game. Like I just think it would be legendary. So I mean, obviously I have my team going to the Super Bowl. I've been very high on them coming into this year. So I definitely have the Eagles winning.
Knowing about snow though, that changes it.
Yeah, let's see if it updated. Let me
If
check.
there's snow, even if it's cold, well, to be fair, Matt Stafford did play in Detroit, so he knows how to play in the cold, but like LA is not used to that. Isn't SoFi a dome? Yeah, it's a
Yes.
dome. So
Yes.
like, I don't know, you're not usually playing in the snow. That's tough.
75% chance of snow on Sunday afternoon.
Love a good snow game.
Right.
Especially
Right.
in the playoffs, it's so good. And
Yeah.
that's why they don't play, in outside stadiums anymore for the Super Bowl. They only
Yeah.
play in the dome because if it does snow anywhere and there's a team from the South or from the West Coast or something that isn't used to it, like, is they could blame that on their loss if they lost the Super Bowl. Anyways,
Yep.
but yeah, that changes it up a little bit. Oh, I'm like trying to think about an upset here, and I'm really having a hard time. Well, okay, let's talk about Ravens Bills a little bit
Okay.
because this is where we part ways, I'm assuming.
You'd be in my on the first episode of the Sporty Hour, I did a playoff bracket and I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl. And this was the hardest decision I've ever had to make. And I
Oh
made
my
a
god.
point to say that I am praying for a Ravens Eagles Super Bowl in my heart of hearts. That's what I want. And I regretted my choices last week after seeing Lamar play because I was like, he's playing lights out. He's having so much fun. But there's just an energy around Josh Allen this season that my heart, like, you can't ignore it. Like, there's really, really something there. He's just unstoppable right now. And I was like, I can't hate on that. So I have the Bills going to the Super Bowl, but I do think I will still be rooting for the Ravens. But I'm just hoping for a good game. And I love both quarterbacks and teams, and I wish them both well.
I'm shocked, genuinely.
I know.
It's gonna be nippy.
It's
gonna be the low of 10 that day in Buffalo. Who knows about the wind chill too? And forget if there's wind and they have to kick. Justin Tucker's not gonna be able to do anything because that man is slowly dying for some reason.
Kickers this entire season are a disaster.
Yeah, it's
I
been bad.
swear, tinfoil hats on, the NFL is poisoning kickers. Like, there's no other explanation.
They were like, we gotta cut costs somewhere, and
They
it's
were
gotta
getting
be the kickers.
Yes, the kickers were getting too good, and the NFL said, we're running out of things, so they just started poisoning them, and now they're all very up and down.
You know what? That's interesting because you know, if you think about it, the kickers, the length has been getting longer and longer. You know, they're making 60, 61, 62-yard field goals. They start making their way back to like the 70-yard mark. That field goal range like line that we see, that disappears.
Right?
They're like, who cares? We're at the 30-yard line. Yeah, kick it.
I'm telling you, the NFL is doing something to kickers.
Oh, you got my hat. I am so in on this conspiracy theory. This is so good.
Get on board, join the club.
Yeah, it's because I mean, think about it. I mean, these guys have just it's like automatic from the 60-yard line, and you're like, how is this even possible? That was not a thing 20 years ago.
Jake Elliott, you know how many times I said I would trust Jake Elliott with my life. I'm pretty sure I said one time Jake Elliott could kick my newborn baby through a goal. Like, I would have done anything for Jake Elliott. And he really has he's had his moments for sure, but that, like you were talking about, that just automatic of like, oh, I don't care. We got Jake Elliott, go for it. We didn't have that. And like, we see it with Justin Tucker. Like, I feel like so many kickers, and there obviously were good kickers this year, but like even the really, really consistent ones in the moment that you need it most, they all fucked up at one point. And I was just like, I feel like I never sat like when kickers were going to a field goal and felt as much uncertainty across every team as I did this season. So yeah, the NFL is poisoning kickers.
The Commanders even, I mean, they won that game, but they doinked it in. So, man, I love a good playoff doink.
I know.
So good.
It's so good.
But to return Ravens Bills here, I agree with you. I think that Lamar Jackson is an insane human being and should 100% win MVP this year. And they've just been so good. But you're going into Buffalo. You're going up against a Buffalo team that has literally been dying for this moment. Like, they want Josh Allen wants nothing more than just a sliver of a chance to get to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's gonna do it, and I want him to. You know me, I've been wanting the Bills to go to the Super Bowl, and even I think even in the beginning of the season, I said that my Super Bowl prediction was Ravens Lions. And like genuinely, I mean, it's still obviously possible, but that Bills team, there's something special going on over there, and they're clicking. It's working. I think the Bills do it, especially being at home.
I do
Especially.
too.
I'm just and then we'll have a Bills Chiefs AFC Championship game, obviously having to go to Arrowhead. But if the Bills go, oh my god, like the story in the AFC to watch the Bills if they win and assuming the Chiefs beat the Texans to go into Arrowhead and beat Patrick Mahomes and gets his I would be like, don't play the Super Bowl. That was
No.
it. He
No,
wins.
literally.
He
And
wins.
that's what I posted, obviously, that I had the Bills going to the Super Bowl. And I saw a comment that was like, listen, like the Bills are great, but those are two really tough games back to back. Like
Yeah.
for Josh Allen to beat Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes to get to the Super Bowl. And I'm like, obviously, but have we seen Josh Allen this year? Like that really doesn't concern me that much right now. Obviously, anyone can make it. Like it's the playoffs for a reason. Everyone's good. But Josh Allen, there's an aura. Haley Steinfeld is doing something to his confidence. And he said, I'm getting 2 rings this year, actually.
Yeah, as he should. As he should. My only concern though is Josh
Arrowhead.
Allen. What?
Arrowhead.
No.
Oh.
Josh Allen has a fine, I'll do it myself mentality. And which is great because it leads to some insane things from coming out of Josh Allen. And he's a moose. I'm not worried about Josh Allen rushing and getting hurt. But the kid can't win a Super Bowl by himself. He can't. He needs the help. He needs James Cook. He needs his receivers. He needs Keon out there. You know, like, and your defense has got to step up, especially going up against Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. Of like these guys, it's not going to be easy. And Josh Allen himself is very good, but that is what concerns me. Is that while Josh Allen is definitely, there's times where Josh Allen has won games for the Bills. This cannot be one of those games. Like everyone needs to show up and show out because if they don't, they're not winning.
I agree. I agree.
And that's my concern. But shall we do a quick picks and then we'll get into book talk before we end the show?
Yes.
All right. Texans Chiefs.
I feel like my picks are going to be very safe. I'm going Chiefs.
I also agree. That's kind of why I was looking at it. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to have an upset here, but I'm also going to go Chiefs. Commanders Lions.
Should I take the upset here?
If you're going to take an upset, it's probably going to be this one.
No, I just I would love to in theory.
Yeah,
I
agree.
It's the Lions. Like I can't pick against the Lions right now.
I'm also going to go with the Lions.
Okay.
Rams Eagles.
I wonder what I'm gonna think about doing here. Eagles.
I might just for the sake of the show have to go Rams. Okay. Just to change up our picks here because we can't both have the same picks. That's
you're right.
Fun.
No, you're right. You're right.
That's fun, and I need an upset.
Okay.
And Ravens Bills.
All right. Well, then I'll pick the Ravens, even though I put the Bills going to the Super Bowl.
Fair, and I'll go Bills. Yeah.
So now I'm covered on. I covered on both shows.
There you go. Yeah, and it's like you could believe that and then still pick something else.
Yes,
so you're fine.
Yes.
Yes. Super exciting weekend, and we actually come the following week, conference championship weekend. Jordyn and I might have some special things coming for you guys. So keep an eye out for that. But to finish off the show today, another segment of Book Talk, Fourth Wing. Our first one was a little bit more just like generic. Jordyn had just started the book. Spoilers. Jordyn, tell me, because you've told me now that you're getting into it, and I'm so excited to hear your thoughts about Fourth Wing so far.
I am absolutely loving it. I'm like just about halfway. So
oh shit, you're going.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I've been on bed rest. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I am really, really into it. I'm trying to think. Oh, so we just found out that Violet was chosen by 2 dragons, which I loved that whole scene so much because I just assumed the little golden one was going to be hers when they were
Yeah.
walking through. And I was like, oh, like I can tell they're trying to be subtle here, but like this feels obvious. And I was like, it's gonna be the golden one. And then I don't know how to pronounce Taryn.
Tarn.
Tarn.
Yeah.
Okay. So then Tarn shows up and he's like, get the fuck on. And I was like, this is fun. But then I was like, what happens to the little golden one? And
Mhm.
now she has both. And everyone is really, really pissed about it. But I liked that Tarn was like, in terms of strength, like physical strength isn't the only thing that matters. And then we also just found out that Tarn's mate is dun 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 Zayden's dragon. So now Zayden has her training with Imogen.
I pronounce it Imogen.
Imogen. Okay.
I don't know if that's right or not, though.
They are training together because now Zayden's like, fuck, I gotta keep her alive. And nothing has happened yet. I also loved that Dane finally kissed her and she was like,
Ew.
I don't give a shit. Like, he annoys me. Is he supposed to?
Yes.
Yeah, I do not like him
I was
at all.
waiting to ask you about Dane because I didn't know where you were at with Dane, but
Yeah.
yeah,
No, Dane
not
fucking
a
sucks.
fan.
And it hasn't happened yet. However, I've known from literally the moment that he was brought up that Zayden is going to be the love interest. And I don't know how, in what aspect or how it goes down, but just the fact that she's like, I hate him so much. He's so gorgeous. I'm like, bitch, go get your man. Like,
At least she's honest with herself about it, though. Like,
yes.
she's just like, he's so hot, but I really hate him.
Yes, and literally, like, he'll walk into a room and she's like, he fucking sucks, but I can't breathe.
No.
Like,
And you know what? She's so real for that. She's so real for that.
I get it. I get it.
Oh my God.
But you know, I'm really, really liking it. It's giving like Hunger Games and Harry Potter, but like the adult sexy version.
Ooh.
And I'm just really vibing with it.
I
Yeah.
love that. I'm so excited for you to like learn more about Andarna and Tarn and like how their relationship grows with each other because it's a really like I love that she has these 2 dragons. They're wonderful. And like Tarn is literally like the biggest and scariest dragon and Violet is like literally like she can't even sit on him.
No.
Correct. Like
At one point she was like, and then I fell off again, and I fell off again, and I was like, bitch, just fucking strap yourself. Like,
it's literally like and that's like that's why everyone's so pissed is that it's like physically they do not like go with one another, but mentally they're pretty much the same.
yes. No, you know, so I haven't liked Dane for probably the last 100 pages. Like the second that she was started, like when she in her inner monologue, when she was like, I feel good here, like maybe I can do this. And then every fucking time he showed up, he was begging her to get out of there. I was like, bro, get over it. Like, it was just like at first I thought it was really sweet because I was like, if that's where her heart is and that's where her passion is, like fine. But once she was like, no, like I'm here and I'm doing it, got all into it. And at one point she was like, I belong here. She like just said that. And I was like, girl. And Dana's still like not believing in her, not seeing how much she's accomplished. Like he's just so convinced she's gonna fail. And I hate that for her.
Dana's the worst.
And when Zayden asked him of like, would you have broken the rules to save her? And he literally was like, no. I was like, I would have slit your throat right there.
I cannot wait for you to move on more in this book so I can hear more about how you feel about Dane because
I like literally want to finish it this weekend. I don't know if I will.
So much still to come that it's like this ain't even half of it. Like you're halfway through the book, there's still so much shit that has to go on. Oh, it's gonna be so good. But yeah, where are you at in terms of is it just that Violet and Zayden just kind of like
nothing
weirdly
Nothing has happened between them yet.
They have nothing going on.
Nothing, like, at all.
Okay. Yeah.
But other than, like, obviously he's flirting. Like, he's
He's a
been
huge
flirting.
flirt.
Yeah. He says it in a way of, like, "I wanna kill you," but it's, like, really, it's, like, hey. But, so far, book boyfriend vibes, I'm a big fan of Xaden because I like that he encourages her and he teaches her, and I know that they're gonna end up together at some
Right.
point in some fashion, but it hasn't happened yet, and I'm like,
Yeah,
"Give it
you're,
to
like,
me."
waiting
Yes. When
patiently.
they were oh my god, when they were on the mat and she was like, "I can picture some other things that would be fun in this position." I was like, 'cause mind you, the last fantasy I read was Throne of Glass. Throne of Glass is very PG. Like,
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
very PG. Like, it's very plot, very character based. Like, there's obviously romances and love and passion and all that stuff, but like in terms of smut, there's like none.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So it's very much it's giving like more Hunger Games
Yeah,
energy
yeah, yeah. It's
in
like
that
you have your
regard.
moments, but it's not, like, driving
Yes.
the book. Yeah.
Yes, not at all. So it's been a while since I've had this, and I was like,
I didn't wanna bring it up because I didn't wanna spoil it for you, but I was, like, I did wanna ask, like, have you gotten to the sparring scene?
yes. And
Oh,
I enjoyed it, and I'm ready for more.
so good.
Yeah,
So good.
no,
That was
I'm
probably,
blushing.
like, in the first book, probably my favorite Violet and Xaden scene.
I loved it just because I was like it felt so intimate, but I was like, "You guys are literally in front of the entire school." Like
Yeah. Yeah, I know, and they're like and, like, you as you're reading it too, you're like, they've literally just been laying on top of each other, staring at each other in their faces for, like, 5 minutes,
yes.
like, not everyone's standing around, and, like, fucking Dane is there too, and he's sitting over there like, "Oh, why they gotta spar," and I'm like, "Dane, shut the fuck up, alright?
I
Chill out."
literally wanna punch him in the face, and we're not even like, nothing has
Oh,
even the moment he said that though, you're
yeah,
I
yeah.
have feelings that aren't positive.
Yes, yes. I'm glad that you're there. Yeah, and how do you feel I don't know how I feel like I remember more of the secondary characters, like her friends and stuff from the second book. I feel like maybe that is, like, more, like, I don't know, brought up more in the second book, but, like, do you like her friends? Like
Yes,
Riddick, Sawyer?
yes, as of right now, I love them all. It's
Yeah.
very, very good vibes. I don't know if that changes. There
Not
was
to spoil
one
anything, but no, not really.
oh, I fucking hate Jack Barlow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like him right now.
Mm.
And there was one that I was like, "Oh, this guy is so annoying," and then all of a sudden, lit by a dragon. I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh,
Oh,
cool."
that's
Like,
fun.
yeah.
So they went through, like, the gauntlet, and then they did the
Yes.
threat thing, and now she's got her dragons. Alright.
Yeah,
You are
we, like
making your way.
I think I ended and all I'm gonna do tonight is read. I
Good.
think I ended, like, right when she got the 2 dragons. No, because then Dane kissed her, which was eh. Um, I literally can't remember, like, exactly the last thing I read,
That's okay.
but
That's
it's
okay.
right around there.
Yeah. Alright. Well, it's a lot. There's a lot of things going on, and you have
I
so much
am
more to
going
go.
to yes, I'm going to try and finish by next week, but also we have our live book club episode next week, and I still
Oh,
have to
shit.
finish that as well.
I completely forgot about that. I'm not gonna
Yes.
lie. I finished that book, like, a week ago, and I was like, "Yeah, I'm ready for book club," and then I think I started listening to, like, one of my favorite books of all time just to, like I don't know, like, I needed, like, a moment just to, like, remember, you
Yes.
know?
What was it? What's your favorite book of all time?
It's called The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin.
I don't think
It's a whodunit, it's a murder mystery. I read it in the 5th grade, and I've read it this is, like, think my 10th time reading it.
wait,
Um,
that's like me with Catcher in the Rye.
and I fucking hate Catcher in the Rye. I literally, like, every time everyone's like, "Oh, I love Catcher in the Rye," I'm like I read it when I was, like, 14 in high school, and I was like, "This all this kid does is fucking cry."
all he does is complain, and he's the biggest. He's low-key a narcissist. Like he
Oh yeah.
literally, he tells everyone, "I hate when you guys do this," and then literally, I remember underlining my book. I'm like, "Bitch, you just did this."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. But yeah, I just need a little familiarity, and it's like not that big of a book either. Like it's like a 6-hour audiobook. So I was like, let me just do a quick like palate cleanse till Onyx Storm comes, and then I'm gonna jump on Onyx Storm
yeah.
once that comes out. Comes out on Tuesday actually.
Should that be our next book club book?
It's my book club book for my other book club too, so I could knock out two books, one stone.
Because I will definitely be finished. I'm flying through Iron Flame. I'm gonna finish the first 2 very quickly.
Perfect. Yeah,
And
I
then
think once I finished Fourth Wing, I finished Iron Flame in like a matter of days.
yes, especially now with the NFL, like I get my Mondays and Thursdays back. So
God
I'm like,
bless.
I can go back to reading.
Listen, I love football and I love watching football, but man, there's something special about once that stops. I'm like, oh, look at all this time I have. Even my husband, he's like, oh, we like can spend time together now. So I'm like, yeah.
I think that's what makes the NFL so special because, like, the MLB, the NBA, the season's just so long. There are
Yeah.
so many games. The NFL, it's like you get to be my entire personality for a few months, and then I can go back to enjoying other hobbies.
Yeah, and we have so many. You and I both have so many hobbies
Yes.
that the NFL, those 6 months of the year, we like put a lot of them on pause. So
Yes.
to then finish up the NFL season and like be able to like jump into like March, you're like, oh. Which, by the way, before we say goodbye, how's your 75 hard going? I know that you've been dealing with like health and stuff, but in the meantime,
It's definitely I had chicken nuggets, just
you
because when I
deserve
got out
them.
of the hospital, that was literally the only thing I wanted. So we are not active. I'm also not allowed to work out at the moment. Like
Well, that's
literally
also fair.
this week and next week, I'm not allowed to do any physical activity. So it's definitely on pause right now. However, leading up to all of this, I was doing really, really well. I was feeling very, very good. And I'm definitely going to go back to it once I get through all of my health stuff. But no, I'm still drinking a ton of water. Obviously still reading. I just can't do the physical aspect of it right now. But
And I think that that's fine. Like you prioritize yourself over that.
yes,
I felt so as someone who like has been working out like every day for like such a long time. I took 2 days off Monday, Tuesday because I had the fucking norovirus and I was just like Tuesday came around, I didn't have any recordings, I didn't have any football, I didn't have any work, I didn't have any kickboxing, I had nothing and I was sitting there and I looked at Michael and I was like, I feel weird and
yes.
like I'm missing something. He's like, "Well, this is your body telling you to rest." And I'm like,
Mhm.
"You're right." And I scrolled on TikTok for 6 hours
Good. As you should.
because also we're not gonna have TikTok anymore.
No.
Probably
RIP.
not. Assuming we're not gonna have TikTok anymore.
I am assuming that we are not, just so I do not get my hopes up to get my feelings hurt.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
However, with the last few days that we have, please follow us on TikTok. And if you do not already, please
Such a
follow
good
us.
so good.
Please follow us on all of our other accounts as well, just in case TikTok ceases to exist. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to us here on the YouTube channel. Find us on all of our other accounts at the unsolicited_podcast. Find us on Twitter at Sam and Jordyn. And then, of course, we are also available wherever you get your audio podcasts. And now let's get ready for NFL Divisional Round. Can I get a go birds?
No, not from me.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Bye.
Bye.